which means peace of God be upon each single one of you. My name is Sabeel Ahmed, and the greeting which I just greeted you was the same greeting that Jesus Christ, peace be upon him, used to greet his disciples with. According to the Gospel of John chapter 20, verse number 19 and verse number 21, as soon as Jesus went to the upper chamber to meet the disciples, he said, "Peace be upon you." So we are following actually the traditions, the rituals, and the message of oneness of God, not just of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, but of all the prophets and the messengers that God has appointed. It is my tradition that before I start the presentation, I start with checking your Islamic IQ. Are you guys ready for it? All right, good. All right, there are about 4 questions. Raise of hands. What do you think the structure is? Let's give the guest the first raise of hands. Yes? It's a mosque. You know, if we were playing Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, this would be the $100 question. Right? All right, you got it. Let's go with the next one here. Who do you think Muslims worship? Allah. Raise of hands, please. Allah. Okay, wonderful. I asked the same question to a colleague of mine in the hospital. Lo and behold, of all the answers, the one that he gave was C. Buddha. I said, come on, man, you should know better. Muslims, we don't worship a human creation, sun, the moon. We worship the one creator, who in Arabic, we call him as Allah. The second last question. Of all the names of the prophets mentioned in the Quran, who do you think is mentioned the most by name? And this is for our guest, by the way. And please raise your hands. No, our guest, sorry. Well, you are our guest too. Yes, go ahead. Okay, she said Jesus. Is that your final answer?
I don't think so.
It's a good answer. Jesus is mentioned 25 times. But you're right. You said Moses. Prophet Moses, peace be upon him, he's mentioned 136 times. Abraham, peace be upon him, he's mentioned 69 times. And Muhammad, peace be upon him, the Muslims who are here, how many times is he mentioned? In the Quran by name? Actually 4 times. 4 times by name Muhammad, peace be upon him, and 1 time by the name Ahmad. Right? So this shows that the respect, the honor, the love that Muslims give to all the prophets and the messengers. And this is the final question. It's a tricky question, so we may, no, not you, you know the answer. Let's give the guest over here the chance. Go for it. Who do you think started Islam? Now all of you are quiet now. Wow, all of you are right. God. Yes. Islam does not have a founder. Muhammad, peace be upon him, is not the founder of Islam. Neither are any one of the human beings up there. We say that God gave the guidance of Islam to the very first human, Adam. And then all the prophets and the messengers, they were given the same ideology. And Muhammad, peace be upon him, he was the reviver of Islam, not the founder of Islam. So you did, all of you did very good. Congratulations. Extra samosas for all of you. This is the distribution of Muslims around the world. As you could see, a bulk of the Muslims, they live in the eastern part of the world. In fact, the most populous Muslim country in the world would be which one? Indonesia, right? It's not Egypt, it's not Saudi Arabia, it's not Iran, Iraq, it is Indonesia. So in fact, of the 1.7 billion Muslims in the world and counting, only 19% of them are from the Arab background. Despite what the Hollywood wants us to believe, right? Despite the media and despite resources. 25 million are in the Europe, about 7 to 11 million in the USA, and obviously about a bulk of them in Indonesia, India, Pakistan, and the rest of the countries up there. Now these are the faces of Islam around the world. A Muslim could be a Muslim from Caucasian background, Filipino. We have many Hispanic sisters and brothers over here, African American, Indian, Pakistani. This shows that anyone, as long as they profess in the oneness of God and in the messengership of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, can become a Muslim. Anyone who recites La ilaha illallah Muhammadan Rasulullah, that I bear witness that there is no one except God, and I bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger, becomes a Muslim. Islam in the USA. According to the latest surveys, there are no less than 7 to 11 million Muslims in the USA. In the Chicagoland area, about what, 500,000? Close to, right? 500,000 Muslims in the Chicagoland area. We have 150 full-time schools, Islamic schools in the USA. I think about 25 of them in the Chicagoland area. So this shows that, so this is one of the mosques, by the way. We have 120 mosques in the Chicagoland area. And about 15 of them, they're doing open houses, just like as we are doing over here. Now these are some of the faces of Islam in the USA. Can you recognize any one of them, or some of them, by the way? Okay, who do you recognize up there? Ice Cube is there, okay. Do you know any boxer who is there? Actually, there are two of them. Muhammad Ali, right?
Ice Cube.
Okay, now there are two individuals who are from the US Congress. Can you name them, or can you recognize them up there? A hint could be they have a flag next to them, right? Keith Allison, who became the very first Muslim in the US Congress. He's from Minnesota. I think someone who's all right, there you go. I hope you voted for him, right? All right, good. The second one is Andre Carson. He's from Indiana. So this shows that Muslims are on the landscape of America, and they're enhancing America in different parts of the fields. Entertainment, you have journalists, you have lawyers and physicians and taxi drivers and politicians. So Islam is part of the landscape of America. Let's go to what Islam is all about. How many of you have heard the word Allah before coming here today? Oh, you guys are taking the class, right? Good. When we Muslims, when we say the word Allah, we don't mean a different God, the God of the Muslims, the God of the Arabs, or a tribal God. When we say the word Allah, we mean the same God who created all of us. Just so in the Arabic language, we call him as Allah. Now let me ask you this quiz question. What was the language of Prophet Jesus, peace be upon him, and what is the name of God in that language? Aramaic. Got it. Good job. And according to Encyclopedia Britannica, the name of God in that language? Ilah. Allah, Ilah. Very similar to what you see up here. Some of the attributes of Allah is that He's one. So we Muslims, we don't believe that God is one in three. So we don't believe in Trinity. We don't believe in the multiple Godheads or idol. We only believe that God is one in one. We say that He's eternal. That means any being who is eternal that always existed, doesn't need to have parents. We also believe that God does not have any progeny, sons and daughters. And then in the Quran, there are 99 plus attributes, by the way. He's all loving and forgiving and all-knowing. He's the sustainer. He doesn't need to eat samosas and all the wonderful things up there, right? We are the ones who God sustains. And God does not need any sustenance. Of the whole presentation, if you need to take home one slide from the presentation, this would be the one. This would be the one. So according to the Quran, when God created Adam and Eve, He gave them one simple, important commandment. And that commandment was, enjoy all the things that you have, but stay away from this specific tree, this specific fruit.